Welcome everybody to today's episode of Touch Base. Today I'm going to talk about what I like to call the trifecta. If you've watched my channel, you will notice that I use these three pieces of gear together a lot, and there's a good reason for that. Each of these pieces of equipment is selected to fulfill a particular need to make a very specific dawless workflow. Obviously, the SP handles sampling, arrangement, sequencing, effects, the TR-6s, of course, all of our percussion needs taken care of right here, and then my favorite Roland S-1. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you how I create a song with the trifecta, how I arrange it, and how I get it into a DAW. Let's get started. All right, so musically today I want to make a techno track, a sort of minimal, chill, but driving and interesting, groovy techno track. I'm gonna listen to a couple of inspirations to try to get me in the space for what I want to make. I love to just like listen to tracks that I'm selecting, draw inspiration from what they sound like, and I want to make what I want to hear ultimately. The way I'm going to do that is by listening to these tracks, pointing out the different elements of what I like and what I think works together with each track, take those details and reformulate them into something of my own. I think having intention and sitting down with intention is going to help the music making process go so much smoother and with a better direction. First thing I'm going to do is listen to this first track called Filter by D-Tron Presents Soulmate. You're not going to hear it because copyright. Oh, that's so good. That's so hard to stop. First thing is that it's got this really great percussion loop that has like a lot of grit and sort of space to it in the background. And I think the track is called Filter because what's happening is that that loop is going through some kind of filter thing that's getting automated, and you can hear it swirling, and I think it might even be panning. Next thing it has is a pretty standard kick that's not going too crazy, but it's nice and punchy and subby. Then there's this sort of sub bass layer that's doing a lot of hidden background work behind the kick and sort of playing around rhythmically with that kick. That's almost like what a low tom would do. The fourth layer that we've got in this track is that stab, and that stab sounds really fucking nasty. Filter, great track. All right, this next track I used in my SP-404 mix that I posted a few weeks ago on my channel called Grunka or Grunka. There's no umlaut, so I'm just gonna call it Grunka. All right, we've got a nice standard kick, again, like sort of 909 whatever kick. A little nice healthy layer of rumble kick in there. We've got a little sub bass going boom, 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 boom. Just doing that all day. We have, again, a very crusty, delicious percussive loop that sounds great. We have a nice crisp clap that just cuts right through everything nicely. And then we have that kind of high pitch. I'm not going to do it, but you know, that high pitched sound. This next one is a lot more sinister than these other ones, but there's things I want to get about it too, so we'll listen here. All right, first of all, okay, that kick is amazing, huge. Love a reverby kick. Second thing we have, that crunchy bass is kind of coming in. It's just like sinister, syncopated, bopping along, gives it that swingy vibe, keeps the whole thing kind of moving on the bottom end of it. On the top end of it, we have this arpeggiated kind of plucky thing up top that sounds awesome and repeats on a sort of polyrhythm arpeggiated thing. So with that intention in mind, let's get down to business here. Okay, what I'll do is I'll make a loop in here. Let's start with a chunky background loop. Hit bass drum, hit instrument. This is just going to be a basic 909 bass, I think. Snare drum is not going to be a snare drum instrument. Let's get into these perks here. I do love 808 low conga. Low tom has got to be different. Let's fix that one right now. 808 clap is going to get me every time. All right, hand clap is not going to be a hand clap. Ooh, Okawa is... That just sounds flavorful and delicious on its own. Maracas and tambourines sounds like the good way to go for the top two. So I'm going to leave 808 maracas there. And then this one, maracas. I think that's gonna sound good. So let me just lay down a 4/4 kick. All right, 145 BPM sounds nice. Now, if I add some shuffle to it, is it going to sound good or is it going to sound not good? I think that's working. So we have 8 different variations here. Let me copy that to that. Great. Let's change how that goes a little bit. We have 2 different variations. That's nice. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get some nice cool effects upon this. Ooh, let's change that delay. Let's go to Shift Kit. Tempo Sync. We are going to turn that on. 18 dotted because that's just what we do. Let's see what onboard effects I can use for the master effect. This is, of course, a Roland, guys, so it already has the vinyl sim built in. Don't we love that? What I want to do is change our low conga here. Sorry. That sounds like a cool techno rumble, don't you think? You can just make a techno rumble just like that inside the TR-6s. Isn't it cool? I think what I'm going to do is start recording into this guy. Let me just add some more saturation craziness to make it sound even more distorted and interesting and textured. Let's add the cassette. Oh man, that makes my voice sound fucking awesome. Alright, the tape effect sounds amazing on vocals. Noted. Let's turn down the BPM, I think, to 140. I'm going to hit record, select a pad, dial in the BPM to 140. And now we have this really nice loop, and then we'll do another one. You know, we don't need to hear the metronome at all. Let's record that other loop now. Nice. All right, now we got both samples there. One kind of a little more syncopated one, and then one that kind of drives more. All right, just to totally sidebar like a person with ADHD, let me just see how that rumble kick sounds when I filter the top of it. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. You know, let me just resample that. Why not? That sounds pretty cool, folks. Oh, my butt is getting numb already. Let's turn the reverb down, the delay down, master effects off. Let's get this kick. Got the kick. Now let's do some sequencing, everybody, or some patterning. All right, you know, I kind of just jammed out on that one. Let's layer the... Is this going to work with our rumble? We'll see. I don't know. All right, I layered that. I think that sounds pretty cool. I feel like that works. Let's copy it. Duplicate that. Let me add some of these perk layers and see how those sound. All right, that sounds great. You know what? what? I'm gonna go to all new pattern here. Let's do an all new pattern. Maybe I just go straight for the ride. There is but one ride, and it's this one. But here's what I'm gonna do to zest it up. All right, now let's loop that, copy, paste that, and here we go. Amazing. All right, now let's get me a nice clap. Morph this one. All right, we're recording that. I want to like mess with the sound generator maybe on this guy and see what kinds of sound effects I can sort of add to like add texture to like build tension. So shift record setting brings you there. Use the knob to find whichever oscillator sound you want. I'm gonna go with noise. Ooh. I'm gonna turn that down. Shift will add the pad length. Let's just do 10 seconds. I'll hit record, do it to this one, hit record to export, and then boom. All right, so that gives us this pad of just 10 seconds of white noise. And you might be thinking, what good does that do? Well, let's use these effects to mess around with it and see what we can do. So the first thing I'm gonna do is do some filter. Do you see the possibilities of that alone? So filter there. On the second one, I'll have delay. That's getting funky. Okay, great, cool. I'm gonna do something cool with delay and then reverse it, and so it all comes building in a cool, trippy way. That sounds. All right, I think that'll sound good. And now I'm just gonna hit reverse, and then it'll reverse it. Nice. So that's kind of, if I trigger at the right time, it's gonna go right on beat. Let's make a bass line. This is a bass that I like a lot, that I've used a bunch. I'm gonna use this one. Maybe we just do that. Ooh, I like that. All right. I think this is gonna sound great. Here we go. I'm gonna record some take of the bass line here. All right, that sounds cool. Let's record the other one. All right, we got those two bass lines. Let me record a pattern with a build up now. That would be cool. Nailed it. Ooh, and then ready? Everything is going to drop all at once. Let's resample this bass line with the filter and make it sound cool. Last but not least, let's do some kind of crazy arpeggiator because we're just begging for that, aren't we? All right, that's kind of cool. And then I'll do last step, be like. Interesting, very melodic. Maybe we lean into the melody of it. Maybe we are okay with it being a little melodic. Ooh, that's moody. That's fun. All right. Stay tuned for the next video where I get all this into my DAW and we play around with it even more, and I use the SP to add more effects and continue this process further. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.